What's up, YouTube? My name is Big Boy Snatch on TV. As you can tell by the title and the thumbnail on the video, this is my WWE Saturday Night's Main Event review on highlights. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please watch the video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content that I do on the channel, where I give you guys a full breakdown of my review and nothing after my review. Go check out my AEW All In Texas review and highlights I post on the channel. Go show that video some love and watch the video from the beginning to the end. Now let's get started. Now WWE Saturday Night's Main Event, it was just I give it it was just a disappointing show for what it was. But one thing that I like about Saturday Night's Main Event was Bianca Belair returning. Bianca Belair returns on Saturday Night's Main Event, but everything else was just there. But this show was just a disappointing show. All right. Saturday Night's Main Event was live from Atlanta, Georgia State Farm Arena. Commentary tonight with Michael Cole and Wade Barrett. They now forever together. The WWE video leads us to the show. The Ventures WWE Saturday Night's Main Event theme plays as we see in overhead shot of Atlanta, Georgia. Joe Testor welcomes us to the show. We are live from State Farm Arena. This show is presented by Jimmy John's. Pre-show arrival. Seth Rollins is in the building with WWE Hall of Famer Paul Heyman, who is carrying Seth Rollins' Money in the Bank briefcase. Big Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker trail behind them. Seth Rollins will face LA Knight, who gets a big ovation when he is shown. Drew McIntyre arrives with the Maverick Logan Paul. Logan Paul will battle Randy Orton, who is talking with Jelly Roll. WWE United States Champion Solo Sikoa is showing around with Jason Mateo and Tonga Loa and Tala Tonga. Solo Sikoa will defend his title against his older brother Jimmy Uso, who is shown arriving at the State Farm Arena. World Heavyweight Champion Gunther is shown walking backstage with his title. He'll battle the WWE Hall of Famer Goldberg in what could be this final match. Video package: Goldberg is shown in the arena earlier today talking with his son Gage. Alright, video package: WWE's Saturday Night's Main Event intro video. It shows the retro clips before transitioning to our modern day stars. We go live into the State Farm Arena. They have the protagonists go off in the ring like they did in the 1990s. Joe Testor and WWE Hall of Famer Jesse the Body Ventura welcomes us to the show. Ventura expects Goldberg will have to battle his age. Goldberg has to win quickly and earlier. The longer it goes on, the greater the advantage goes to Gunther. Joe Testor asks about Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. Ventura discussed teaming up with Randy Orton's father, Cowboy Bob Orton. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Michael Cole and Wade Barrett then takes over the broadcast. So we get a video package. Last night on SmackDown, Logan Paul destroyed Jelly Roll's musical set. Alright, so we get the first match. So we get the Viper Randy Orton accompanied by Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre, accompanied by the Maverick Logan Paul. And this was a decent match for what it was. But let me take a sip of my water. Alright, this was a decent match. The bell rings, they circle the ring. Drew McIntyre kicks Randy Orton in the midsection as Randy Orton goes for a lockup. Drew McIntyre punches him in the corner and climbs to the second rope for 10 punches. Randy Orton slides out and sweeps the feet. Randy Orton then climbs the second rope and unleashes the full 10 punches. Randy Orton hits the ropes and clotheslines Drew McIntyre over the top rope. Randy Orton follows him out of the ring and stares at Logan Paul. Randy Orton goes for a back suplex on the table, but Drew McIntyre fights out. Drew McIntyre then hits Randy Orton with the back suplex on the commentary table. Drew McIntyre grabs him and hits a second back suplex on the commentary table. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Randy Orton punches Drew McIntyre in the corner. Drew McIntyre reverses a whip into the opposite corner, and Randy Orton draws to his knees, favoring his surgical repair back. Drew McIntyre targeted the lower back with the back suplex on the commentary table. Drew McIntyre asks what happened to Randy Orton as he chops his chest. Randy Orton absorbs the impact and stares incredulously at Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre whips him to the opposite corner, but Randy Orton pops out and hits a pair of clotheslines. Randy Orton ducks a clothesline and goes for a snap power slam, but Drew McIntyre puts the brakes on. Drew McIntyre connects with the Glasgow Kiss in charge, but Randy Orton drops him on the apron. Drew McIntyre goes to the top rope and leaves, but he rolls through as Randy Orton moves. Drew McIntyre charge, but Randy Orton hits him with a snap power slam. Drew McIntyre rolls out of the ring to recover. Randy Orton follows him out and hits a back suplex on the commentary table. Randy Orton quickly grabs him and hits a second back suplex on the commentary table. Randy Orton isn't done yet. He grabs Drew McIntyre and hits a third back suplex on the commentary table. Randy Orton then scares Logan Paul back. Drew McIntyre quickly hits a throat thirst and gets Randy Orton in the ring. Randy Orton kicks Drew McIntyre in the face as he attempts to get in the ring. Randy Orton connects with a vintage draping DDT before signaling to the crowd that is that time. Randy Orton drops down and stares to stalk his prey. Logan Paul gets on the apron and distracts Randy Orton. Drew McIntyre floors him with a Claymore kick. 1-2. Randy Orton gets a foot on the bottom rope to stop the pin. Logan Paul and Jelly Roll go face to face at ringside. Jelly Roll yells at him. Logan Paul shows him a few times. Jelly Roll dares him to push him one more time, so Logan Paul bleeds. Jelly Roll shuts him down and is fired up. Drew McIntyre shouts at Jelly Roll from the ring. Drew McIntyre tells Jelly Roll to get in the ring and fight him. Jelly Roll points at him, but he won't get in the ring. Drew McIntyre grabs Randy Orton and pulls him up. Randy Orton floors him with an RKO from out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. The winner of the match, the Viper, Randy Orton. This was a decent match for what it was. Randy Orton smiles and celebrates in the ring before Logan Paul blindsides him with a right hand to the mouth. Logan Paul's right hand contains a titanium plate. Jelly Roll has seen enough and gets in the ring. Logan Paul is standing over Randy Orton and does to see Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll grabs Logan Paul and throws him to the corner. Logan Paul gets up and is furious. Jelly Roll lays him out with a big right hand. A Jelly Roll chant picks up. Jelly Roll checks on Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre lays him out with a Claymore kick. Drew McIntyre tosses trash to Jelly Roll. General Manager Adam Pearce and SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis runs down with WWE officials to admonish Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre walks off. Randy Orton is concerned about Jelly Roll. Decent open match with Randy Orton going over Drew McIntyre. A lot of it happened during the break, but the post-match stuff with Logan Paul and Jelly Roll was really well done. Good build, but the impending #SummerSlam tag team match, #Saturday Night's Main Event. So Randy Orton and Jelly Roll are going to battle Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul at SummerSlam. And Randy Orton and Jelly Roll is going to go over Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. They're going to go over them. So we go to commercial break. Replay moments ago. Jelly Roll shoved Logan Paul down at ringside. Drew McIntyre was furious about that and tuned into an RKO from out of nowhere from Randy Orton, costing Drew McIntyre the match. Logan Paul would attack Randy Orton, so Jelly Roll pulled him off and laid him out with a right hand. Drew McIntyre then crushed Jelly Roll with a Claymore kick. So we go to backstage segment. Raw General Manager and Alan Pearce and SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis are yelling at Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. At ringside, the Leveraging family receive upgraded seats from Jimmy John's. Alright, it says Women's World Champion Io Sky is at ringside. Her opponent tomorrow at Evolution, Rhea Ripley, is also showing. Alright. Queen of the Ring, Jade Cargill, is also at ringside. She'll battle Naomi in a no-holds-barred match tomorrow night. Naomi then attacks Jade Cargill from behind and knocks her to ringside. Naomi beats on her and applies a sleeper hold. WWE officials pull Naomi off. Jade Cargill attacks Naomi and shoves her over the commentary table. WWE officials separated them. The crowd chants, "Let them fight." Naomi then leaps off the commentary table and takes Jade Cargill down. WWE officials finally pull them apart. Alright. SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis says he was worried something like this would happen. He wanted to discuss this with them in his office, like professionals. But since they can't keep their hands off each other, he wants to introduce them to their special guest referee for their match at Evolution tomorrow, Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair comes out to a huge ovation, and walks down to ringside. Jade Cargill and Naomi stared at her. So you already, you already know what time it is. So we're gonna get Bianca Belair versus Naomi at SummerSlam. And yeah, and I can't wait to see that match. I cannot wait to see that match with Bianca Belair versus Naomi. Alright. Doug Dillinger, former WCW head of security who escorted Goldberg backstage for all of his iconic WCW interests, is shown at ringside. WWE Hall of Famer Diamond Dallas Page, WWE Hall of Famer Diamond Dallas Page, one of Goldberg's great WCW opponent, as he is also at ringside. Yeah, it's also at ringside. Video package. Highlights from Goldberg's WCW career are shown. The Ring General Gunther will defend his World Heavyweight Championship against Goldberg. It could be the final match of Goldberg's career. Alright, Jimmy Uso makes his way to the ring. He'll battle his little brother Solo Sikoa for the United States Championship next. So we go to commercial break. Alright. So we get the next match. The United States Championship match. Jimmy Uso versus Solo Sikoa, accompanied by MFT, JC Mateo, Tama Tonga, and Tala Tonga. And this match right here, this was a okay match for what it was. This match was okay for what it was. The bell rings and the two brothers stare at each other. Solo Sikoa talks a little bit, but Jimmy Uso angrily stares back at him. Jimmy Uso blocks a right hand and lays in some punches. Solo Sikoa shoves him off, but Jey Uso fights back and hits a suicide dive. Tonga Loa and Jason Mateo help Solo Sikoa up, but he shouts at them. Solo Sikoa is furious. So Jimmy Uso attacks Solo Sikoa as he tries to get in the ring. Solo Sikoa throws Jimmy Uso to the apron. Jimmy Uso punches him back and goes to the top rope. Jimmy Uso leaves, but Solo Sikoa catches him with a spinning solo for a 1 count. Jimmy Uso rolls to the apron, but Jimmy Uso punches him back. Jimmy Uso kicks him in the face and shoulders him in the midsection. Solo Sikoa punches him as he attempts a slingshot. Tala Tonga then clotheslines Jimmy Uso at ringside as Solo Sikoa distracts the referee. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Solo Sikoa sets up for a suplex on the apron. Jimmy Uso blocks it and punches Solo Sikoa off. They throw punches on the apron before Solo Sikoa shoves him spine first into the ring post. Jimmy Uso enters with a super kick. Both brothers are hurting. Jimmy Uso grabs a waistlock and hits Solo Sikoa with a German suplex on the apron. Solo Sikoa slowly gets in the ring and heads to the top rope. Jimmy Uso connects with a diamond crossbody block for a 2 count. Jimmy Uso sizes Solo Sikoa up and smashes him in the face with a running hip corner and a hip corner attack. Jimmy Uso goes to the top rope and connects with a Uso splash 1-2. Solo Sikoa kicks out. Jimmy Uso watches his brother struggles to get up. Jimmy Uso charges for a spear, but Solo Sikoa kicks him in the face, hitting a spinning solo. Solo Sikoa holds his heavy taped thumb up and goes for a small spike, but Jimmy Uso ducks it, and Jimmy Uso connects with a 2 super kicks and cross towards the corner. Jimmy Uso climbs to the top rope, but Solo Sikoa rolls out of the ring. Jason Mattel and Tonga Loa check on Solo Sikoa. Jimmy Uso takes them out with a corkscrew senton to the floor. The referee is counting them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jimmy Uso gets Solo Sikoa in the ring. Tala Tonga attempts to attack Jimmy Uso, but Jimmy Uso responds with a super kick. Jimmy Uso then kicks him in the face. Sosa Cole pulls Jimmy Uso into the ring and rolls him up. Tala Tonga holds Sosa Cole over him as the pin is counted. The winner by pinfall and still your WWE United States Champion, Sosa Cole. This match was okay for what it was. Yeah, this match was okay for what it was. Tala Tonga immediately takes out Jimmy Uso with a big boot. MFT triple team Jimmy Uso before holding him up for Sosa Cole to hit a Samoan spike. Jacob Fatu then heads to the ring. The Samoan werewolf attacks Jason Mateo and Tonga Loa. Jacob Fatu super kicks Tonga Loa before Avalanche and Jason Mateo and Tonga Loa. Jacob Fatu hits them with a running hip attacks and celebrates. Tala Tonga gets on the apron and sneers at Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu eyes him up as Tonga steps over the top rope. Tala Tonga towers over Jacob Fatu. They start exchanging strikes before Tonga big boots him. Sosa Cole shouts orders at Tala Tonga, but Jacob Fatu pulls the top rope down to get him out of the ring. Jacob Fatu then hits Sosa Cole and Tala Tonga with a suicide dive. Jacob Fatu gets in the ring and celebrates. Okay match with Sosa Cole retaining the title over Jimmy Uso. I'm not really feeling Sosa Cole in the MFT yet. We'll see. Hashtag Saturday night's main event. Video package Goldberg career when he came over to WWE. Coming up next, we have an interview with Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. Commercial break. The first ever two-night SummerSlam is a few weeks. Replay earlier tonight, Jelly Roll attacked Logan Paul as he was attacking Randy Orton. Drew McIntyre then hit Jelly Roll with the Claymore kick. Backstage interview. Randy Orton is apologizing to Jelly Roll for having him out there. Kathy Kelly asks about what happened last night and tonight. Randy Orton says it is his fault. He shouldn't have had his friend out there. Jello says he's a grown man. They're gravely underestimating him. They think he's soft, but he wants them both anywhere, anytime. Randy Orton says he's got a word for Kathy Kelly. SummerSlam. Randy Orton says him and Jelly Roll will team at SummerSlam, and it'll be RK Roll. Alright, let's move on. WWE Hall of Famer Rick and Scott Steiner are at ringside. Rick Steiner is the father of Braun Breaker. Let's move on. Burn it down. Seth Rollins heads to the ring with WWE Hall of Famer the Oracle Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is holding Seth Rollins' Money in the Bank briefcase. So we get Seth freaking Rollins accompanied by Paul Heyman versus LA Knight. And in this match right here, this was a squash match. I ain't even gonna lie. This match right here, this was a squash match. Alright. The bell rings and they circle each other. LA Knight charge. Seth Rollins quickly puts himself through the ropes to keep LA Knight back. Seth Rollins gets a cheap shot in. They exchange right hands before Seth Rollins attacks the injured ribs. LA Knight reverses an elbow and hits a back elbow. LA Knight goes for a suplex, but his ribs are hurting. Seth Rollins goes for the pedigree, but LA Knight fights out and goes for blunt force trauma. Seth Rollins pushes him off, but LA Knight holds the ropes. LA Knight hits Seth Rollins with a back body drop over the top rope. LA Knight then connects with a big baseball slide. LA Knight bounces Seth Rollins off the commentary table several times before standing on the table. LA Knight signs him up and connects with a diving clothesline. Alright, so we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Seth Rollins is applying a grapevine to the body. LA Knight fights out and punches him, but Seth Rollins lifts him up and hits a gut buster. Seth Rollins goes to the top rope and connects with a frog splash 1-2. LA Knight kicks out. Paul Heyman is not happy with the referee's count. Seth Rollins tosses trash to LA Knight, who is struggling to get up. LA Knight blocks a punch and lays in right hands. Seth Rollins kicks him in the midsection and goes for a top goes for a stomp, but LA Knight moves and hits a clothesline. LA Knight sidesteps Seth Rollins, and hits a neck breaker, followed by a DDT. LA Knight rolls to his feet and shatters around the ring. LA Knight goes to the second rope. Goes to the second rope. What was I? LA Knight. What was I? It says LA Knight sidesteps Seth Rollins and hits a neck breaker, followed by a DDT. LA Knight rolls up to his feet and shatters around the ring. LA Knight goes to the second rope, does his stunt, leaps to the top rope, and hits a diving elbow. 1-2, Seth Rollins kicks out. Alright, LA Knight stomps away at Seth Rollins in the corner. LA Knight goes for BFT, but Seth Rollins pushes him down and quickly LA Knight stomps away at Seth Rollins in the corner. LA Knight goes for the BFT, but Seth Rollins pushes him off and quickly goes to the apron. Seth Rollins looks scary. LA Knight grabs him by the hair. Seth Rollins shoulders him in the injured midsection. Seth Rollins goes to the top rope, but LA Knight crunches him up there. LA Knight chops the chest, sets up for a superplex. Seth Rollins punches him in the midsection and punches him off. LA Knight quickly leaps to the top rope and goes for a superplex, but Seth Rollins slides through and hits a buckle bomb. LA Knight avoids a curb stomp and lifts him, but his midsection gives out. Seth Rollins super kicks LA Knight and goes to the apron. Seth Rollins connects with a springboard senton splash before going for a lion saw, but he lands on his feet when LA Knight moves. Seth Rollins holding his knee in pain upon landing. Alright, Paul Heyman quickly checks on Seth Rollins. The referee keeps LA Knight back. Seth Rollins looks panicked. The ringside doctor comes over to check on Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins hasn't gotten up. Seth Rollins pulls himself up, but LA Knight hits him with the BFT for a clean win. The winner of the match, LA Knight. And this was I ain't gonna lie, this was a squash match. LA Knight doesn't look pleased with that win and walks off. That clearly wasn't planned. Replay. They show a replay of moments of Seth Rollins landing on his feet, attempting a lion saw, and immediately goes down. You can see Paul Heyman stop acting and start looking concerned. Alright. The injury bug hits WWE in a huge way. We had a feud, but no longer than Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins had to be helped to the back after seemingly blew out his knee, landing on his feet after a lion saw attempt. Awful moment that is going to destroy many storylines. I agree with that. That was an awful moment right there. Alright, let's move on. I can't imagine the amount of scrambling that is going on behind the scenes right now. Seth Rollins was planning a major role in WWE storylines for the remainder of the year. Unbelievable. Alright, let's move on. So we get a video package. Goldberg versus Gunther. The main event is coming up next. Commercial break. The host of American Ninja Warrior is at ringside. Blake Monroe is also showing. NXT Women's Champion Jessie Jane is also showing. They run down the WWE Evolution card. It's official. Randy Orton will team with Jelly Roll to battle Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul at SummerSlam. Multi-platinum Grammy Award winning rapper 2 Chainz is showing at ringside. World Heavyweight Champion, the Ring General Gunther makes his entrance to the crowd to chant Goldberg. Makes his way to the crowd. What was that? The World Heavyweight Champion, the Ring General Gunther makes his entrance. The crowd starts to chant Goldberg. Start to chant Goldberg. Backstage segment. Former WCW head of security Doug Dillinger is standing with a host of security guards. Ernest Miller and Gage Goldberg are among them. Josh Burnett is also seen. Dillinger knocking on the door, and Goldberg emerges from the dressing room. From the dressing room to a huge ovation. The 58-year-old Hall of Famer embraces everyone and walks out to the stage. Goldberg emerged among the Sparks one last time and is fired up as his power goes off. Goldberg looks emotional. This is Goldberg's first match since February 2022. The last ride is now. Commercial break. Lillian Garcia is in the ring. Doing the announcements. All right, so we get the main event of the evening. So we get the World Heavyweight Championship. The Ring General Gunther versus 58-year-old Goldberg. The referee Charles Robinson. This match was god awful. This match was god awful, and this match was god awful and terrible moment and terrible ending. Charles Robinson referee Goldberg's legendary match against Hollywood Hulk Hogan for the WCW champion. And yeah, the bell rings to start the final match of Goldberg's career. The crowd loudly chants Goldberg. They lock up and Goldberg immediately shoves Gunther down. Gunther gets to his feet and kicks him. Gunther hooks a side headlock, but Goldberg whips him off and hits a shoulder tackle. Gunther chops Goldberg's chest, but Goldberg laughs it off. Goldberg absorbs another chop from Gunther. Gunther kicks him and hits the ropes, but Goldberg clotheslines him down. Goldberg punches away at Gunther and knees him in the face. Goldberg connects with a short arm clothesline and stares down at Gunther, who is clearly stunned. Gunther sets up for a jackknife, but Gunther kicks him in the knee and crushes him with the short arm clothesline. Gunther heads to the top rope, but Goldberg flips him down to the canvas. Goldberg ties him up in the corner and charges, but Gunther bails out of the ring. The crowd loudly boos Gunther. Goldberg follows him out and attacks Gunther. Gunther stops Goldberg from whipping him and kicking him in the knee. Gunther chomps away at Goldberg's chest. Goldberg fights back and whips him. Gunther rolls through and sidesteps a spear from Goldberg. Goldberg instead goes through the barricade. So we go to commercial break. Alright. It says, so we go to commercial break. Back from the break, Gunther is attacking Goldberg's injured knee. Goldberg yells in pain before pouncing Gunther away. Gunther chops Goldberg, so Goldberg responds with their right hand. They trade punches and chops before Gunther floors him with a kick to the knee. The knee brace might as well be a bullseye on Goldberg's knee. Gunther shoves Goldberg and taunts him. Goldberg angrily gets up and punches Gunther. Goldberg blocks a kick and connects with a big spine buster. Goldberg leans against the ropes and holds his knee. Goldberg hobbles towards Gunther. Gunther kicks him, but Goldberg lays in some body shots. Gunther chops back at Goldberg. Goldberg elbows and punches away at Gunther before backing up to recover. Gunther stops and whips and kicks Goldberg to the knee. Gunther goes for a powerbomb, but Goldberg counters with a back body drop. Goldberg charges for a spear, but Gunther moves, and Goldberg hits Charles Robinson with a spear instead. The 61-year-old referee is out. Gunther takes Goldberg down and whips off the knee brace. Gunther shadows around the ring, holding Goldberg's knees brace like a trophy, and used the knee brace to attack the knee before hitting Goldberg in the head with it. Alright, Gunther goes to ringside and holds a knee brace up. Gunther then walks over to Goldberg's family. Gage Goldberg confronts him. Gunther shoves him. So Gage jumps over the barricade. WWE security quickly runs over and holds him back. Gunther gets in the ring, and Goldberg crushes him with a spear. It's fired up. So the crowd roars as Goldberg pulls Gunther up and hooks his head in a front face lock. Goldberg connects with a massive jackhammer on the World Heavyweight Champion. Referee Sean Bennett runs down as Goldberg holds his knee in pain. Goldberg finally covers Gunther 1-2. Gunther kicks out. Goldberg tries to pull himself up, but he falls over. Gunther then locks Goldberg in a weird naked choke, grab behind the body for more leverage. Goldberg managed to attempt fighting back, but he can't escape the clutch of Gunther. Gunther squeezed tighter, and the referee has no choice but to call for the bell. The 20-year career of Goldberg is over. The winner by referee stoppage and still World Heavyweight Champion, the Ring General Gunther. This match was god awful. And this match wins 5 minutes, even though this match itself was god awful. And I already knew Gunther was going to retain, so there was no way Goldberg was not going to win. So Goldberg comes to as we go to commercial. So we go to commercial break. We return from the break to see Goldberg surrounded by his family and friends. Michael Cole says tonight it's all about him and hands him the microphone. Goldberg apologized for going out a little subpar and had never lost in Atlanta. He has many friends and family members who have come from all over the world. Goldberg thanks them. The fans in Atlanta are wonderful, and he couldn't have done it without them. The show abruptly ends. Some really poor time management spoiled the end of Goldberg's career. Goldberg gave his all in the match. It wasn't great, but I appreciate the effort of the 58-year-old man trying to turn the clock back once last time. Goldberg doesn't embrace himself by any means. Hashtag Saturday Night's Main Event, which is, I agree with that. That was terrible. That was a terrible moment right there. The match itself was terrible, but it had a terrible moment. Alright. I just can't believe that they came up so short on time that we couldn't get the full post-match speech from Goldberg. But such a bummer that he couldn't truly have that moment. Showing the full footage after the fact is not a proper substitute for proper time management. Hashtag Saturday Night's Main Event. This was a consequential Saturday Night's Main Event mainly for the wrong reason. The story should be the trumpet and to Goldberg's career. But I I'm sure many others can think about is the injury to Seth Rollins. Hopefully it's not that bad, but if it is long term, it's devastating. Alright, and WWE signed, also, no Jesse Ventura commentating tonight. It was looking forward to his wacky commentary where he destroyed a segment by talking about wrestling like it's real and not seeing how different the finishes are far from his day. Hashtag Saturday Night's Main Event. And WWE Saturday Night's Main Event goes off the air, but let me read the quick match results. The Viper Randy Orton defeated Drew McIntyre, which that match itself was decent. So Sikoa defeated Jimmy Uso to retain the United States Championship. LA Knight defeats Seth freaking Rollins, which that match was squashed. The Ring General Gunther defeated 58-year-old Goldberg. The referee Stan Page to retain the World Heavyweight Champion. That match was awful and it had that awful moment. And WWE Saturday Night's Main Event goes off the air. So anyway, if you guys enjoyed my WWE Saturday Night's Main Event review on highlights, make sure you guys please watch the video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content where I give you guys the full review, the full breakdown of my review and not the half of my review. Go check out my AEW All In Texas review on highlights that I posted on the channel just now. Make sure you guys full watch that video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. And I will see you. And I will see you guys tomorrow for my WWE Evolution review and highlights. Have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club. Too sweet. I'm out of here. Gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang.